I'm at dinner at the Ordinary on King Street with my mom and dad, and a heavy object was thrown through the window, and it did hit somebody sitting at the bar, and she started to scream. At that point, the waiter came over to us and told us that the situation had gotten out of hand. They were using tear gas right outside, heavy protest. So at that point, they've locked the doors to the restaurant here. I'm still here, and they have closed all of the blinds, and encouraging us to stay calm and things like that. But definitely things are out of hand, and that woman who was hit sitting at the bar is being treated. But the protests are definitely violent outside. I'm glad no one else was hurt, and they've encouraged us to just stay here because going outside right now is not a great option. The waitress told me that down by Stig, if you know where that is, lower down on King Street, there are really violent protests happening there, and that's where the tear gas is being used. So again, just sort of assessing the situation as we go, but definitely things have escalated as the night goes on. So right now we're going to stay here at the Ordinary. We're locked in the building, so feel pretty safe that way, but definitely a severe situation outside, Taylor.
Absolutely. Hannah, can you tell us a little bit more about the atmosphere in the restaurant right now? I can only imagine people are very afraid at this moment.
Yes, and I will tell you, we're taking it all in stride. So I will say that the waitress that we had was in tears, very scared, and lots of screaming just because I don't think anyone was expecting these bricks and these heavy objects to be thrown into the restaurant through the windows and hitting and injuring people. Definitely not what people were expecting. Obviously, we've been aware of the protests happening all day around Charleston, starting out in Marion Square, the Ravenel Bridge, but I don't think people thought they were going to get to this point, I don't want to say going after people, but, hurting the woman at the bar and things like that. And just that heightened atmosphere. So it's a lot emotionally and understanding everything as it goes on. But people are definitely scared. But right now, the only option is to stay inside the restaurant here. They did tell me they canceled reservations for the rest of the night. Every bar and restaurant on King Street has canceled their reservations for the rest of the night. Again, closing the blinds and locking the doors. I can see all the blue lights from the different police vehicles flashing outside, fire trucks, things like that. There's definitely heavy law enforcement presence trying to handle the situation. But again, it's just a lot of people, a lot of tension, a lot of feelings, a lot of unrest, and they're doing the best they can to manage that.
Absolutely. Hannah, I want you to tell us a little bit about what it looked like on King Street when you arrived to the restaurant, because of course Raymond Owens and Riley Benson are blocks away, and there's a lot of chaos right now. Was that evident when you arrived to the restaurant earlier?
Right. Well, I will tell you, I've been on King Street all day. I was out, again, my mom and dad are in town, so earlier today we were doing a little bit of shopping, and we did see those protests that happened mid to late afternoon, where people were walking through the streets. But again, very peaceful protests. People had their signs and that sort of thing. And then when we showed up to dinner tonight, we had an 8:30 reservation. I will say I had to drive, I couldn't go across the Ravenel Bridge because the Ravenel Bridge was shut down. And so I did kind of have to drive all the way around. But when we got here, everything was fine. And then, again, that brick being thrown probably only about 20 minutes ago now is when things really started to get to another level. We started seeing the cop cars, the lights flashing through the windows, and that sort of heightened our awareness of what was happening. And then, of course, the objects being thrown. Again, all the glass is broken, all the windows at the front of this restaurant, and one of those objects, of course, hitting the woman at the bar.